When I think of defining pop culture icons that span multiple generations, I like to think of the face from Nick Jr. Well, there are personal reasons for that. Anyway, specifically, I mean the face that makes the tooting dirt 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 noise when announcing child friendly entertainment programs like a special needs child teaches you how to tie your shoes and bake cookies in the sink. Normally, face would show up in a different beautiful color, like a blue or green or pink or yellow pastel. And with happy, delightful, almost crying eyes, face would let you know that are you afraid of the dark? Nah, damn it. It's not a child friendly program. Listen, it's been a while. I'm in my 40s now. Face announced stuff was coming up like The Little Bits, a Japanese anime about elves that live in your belly button and mind the bacteria, or whatever. I'll just let you know that stuff like that and David the Gnome inspired me to doodle foxes on the bathroom walls in elementary school. With that said, one fine morning, Face came on TV and he actually looked sad. Even worse than that, he looked confused. Face here. Ooh, ooh. Face groaned. I just swallowed my own tongue. No, he didn't. It was literally right there on his face. Let's do jumping jacks, Face exclaimed in a fever rage. Uh, uh, he couldn't do jumping jacks. He didn't have arms or legs. I snuck into Grandma's medicine cabinet. Face opened his mouth again, revealing a mouthful of grape cough syrup that was dripping down his face, presumably. This was all fitting, given that the background of this intro was in purple this time, or violet if you're a fruitcake. Now it's time for the cartoons. There were no cartoons. There was 55 minutes of static, jumping around, occasionally showing blips of some of the freakiest stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. Pirates, ghosts, pirate ghosts, a skeleton at a top. That was doing unsightly things to some non-breathing dude's skin, combing it, brushing it. And then, well, I I screamed for my mom as I saw him ripping and tearing the flesh off the guy, as if he was savoring the top layer of last night's homemade ricotta cheese and meat lasagna. Mom! Faces got evil! I screamed. My mother bolted right in and told me to shut up and shoved a peanut butter sandwich down my throat till I choked. Okay. I'm exaggerating a little. I'm a bit bitter about my life experiences with my mother, but she did tell me it was all in my head and that out of the corner of her eye, while she was doing the household chores, she noticed a rather adorable pirate show on TV with a parakeet squawking out directions to a buried treasure located behind a local elementary school. Well, I did what any child with even a half functioning brain and sense of adventure would do. I took my gravekeeper daddy's shovel, and the following school day during recess, I took it out and went a shoveling. Oh, my teacher noticed, sure, but I told her the groundskeeper was teaching me how to grow strawberries in the school garden. Oh, some sweet crap excuse like that. Anyway, my heart actually did skip a beat a few minutes from then. I pounded my shovel in the dirt, digging and digging, tossing mounds of the stuff and the earthworms or whatever else was crawling around in it, beetles, over the chain link fence until I heard a clink. A clink like metal or some sort of stainless steel pressing against the shovel. It was a box. I noticed what appeared to be ketchup and mustard stains all over it, but they were really dry and didn't smell like ketchup and mustard. But if they'd been down there for years in the dirt, why would they, I didn't have any gloves on, so my hands were disgusting. They demanded a washing when our aide called us back into the classroom. But I hid that box in my backpack so that nobody would ask any questions. Now, I'm sure you'd love to know what was actually locked inside that thing. Buried treasure, instructions on how to perform, well, some sort of long lost dance or song, half digested, bug infested Lunchables. Well, the honest answer is that I couldn't tell you at first. After all, it was locked. I had no idea where to find the key if there even was one. I tried smashing it open with a shovel, but it was no use. I tried fiddling around with stuff like nails and paper clips, that kind of thing, but nothing popped it. And to be honest, I nicked myself and had to disinfect and bandage the thing. My fingers. It made me a little less eager to keep trying. Eventually, I just returned it to my backpack and I forgot all about it. That is to say, until about a year later. Face was back on. By then, I felt a little too old for Face, but there he was. Face here. Dirt, dirt, dirt. I'm sure glad that you listened to your mother on that harsh, cold winter day about a year ago. Wait, what? How did he know? Then again, maybe the intro just aired one time back then, so that's how Face knew when it happened. My heart was beating faster than a blow snorter's. But my logic sent it back down to normal. I guessed Face knew that I listened to Mom, because odds are parental figure would be around to supervise a child, right? But how is it that she could see the program 1 year ago, but to me it was almost entirely static? I want you to know that Face was crying? It wasn't a realistic tear or anything supernatural going on as far as I could tell, but it still made me sad. I can't tell you what's inside the box right now, but if you wait 10 years. What? 10 whole frickin' years! I exclaimed. My mother ran to the room and told me to shut the hell up or she'd smack me in the back of the head with a fly swatter because I was being more annoying than a crap-eating insect or a mosquito. I'm not exaggerating this time. That's exactly what she said. I guess she figured I was old enough to be threatened like that now, but being a father now myself, I think that's really douchey parenting. Well, I waited 10 years, all right. 10 long freaking years. But then it happened. One day. It was a weekend. Drake and Josh was on. Drake had just told Josh that he scored a really sweet treasure based on a dusty old map that fell out of an atlas at the school library. I ain't calling you a truther, Josh exclaimed. And then the screen went to static. As I went to adjust my screen, he? Well, I don't know if Face is an it or a he, but that's what popped up. It had been 10 long years. Face here. He looked just as chipper and brightly colored around him as he used to, even though the drawing felt a little off somehow. I just wanted you to know that I finally magically unlocked the box. You were such a good boy for waiting. Quick, go look. Bye. Face melded. Huh. Like the Wicked Witch of the West after being splashed with a cauldron of boiling water or something. That was odd. But I was a big boy and far too old to cry. I rummaged for the car keys, drove to the storage locker, practically ripped the door right open. Well, it lifts upward and downward, but you get the idea. And after some rummaging, I found it. The box! It was dusty, but no longer dirty since I'd washed it all those long years ago. I opened it, and there was a note. That's it. This entire time. Son, I want you to know that I love you. Your mother didn't see anything on TV that day. She was in on it. Since she's moved on to where I am now, where I already was back then, I waited this long so that you wouldn't, well, take this out on her if you choose not to come along. That second face appearance was me putting my experience hijacking TV signals to use, and so was the first. I'm sorry if it scared you. I need to make sure you didn't forget it. That it was burnt into your memory forever. Or at least until now. I guess I'm not much of an animator. Some would say that I'm not really much of a father. Did that tear look real to you, son? Anyway, my tears are real, son. Oh no. The ink. It was far too faded. The humidity of the storage locker. Oh no. I couldn't make out a thing. No. That was just me panicking. Yeah, it had faded out a little over the years and it took some squinting, but I did make it all out. Dad had quit his gravekeeping job. He had joined a cult made up of the people who used to sit around there at night, lighting candles, chanting things, sacrificing animals in blood basins. There was a rule about not allowing kids in or around them, both during ceremonies and any other time of day, because we might drive them away from their divine mission, so called. And now, at that point, I'd turned 18. I was old enough to join them and live out the rest of my years. There was an address, a phone number, everything. 10 long years. 10 long freaking years. For that. Well, I crumpled up that piece of paper and I phoned my girlfriend. We got married not all that long after that, and we began a real, healthy, wholesome family life. My children will have it better than I did. They already have. But that's okay. You know, I hope that you learned from my experience as well, if you can somehow relate to it in any way. The thing is, if God is love, then you shouldn't have to leave your loved ones behind, especially if they're innocent. Right? May God bless you and keep you, my friend.